Greetings, warriors of Calradia. 170 is now live, bringing many new and exciting updates that we'll be taking a look at in this video. But just before we get to that, we want to inform you of a change to the save and load system that will render old save files incompatible with future updates, unless you act now. 171 cleans up some of the underlying code for the save and load system, but unfortunately, this means that you'll need to manually load each save in 170 and then save it again. After doing that, you will be all set for future updates. If you're playing the game through Steam, you'll be able to do this at your own leisure by using the betas feature. But if you're playing the game through any other platform, you'll be unable to load older save files after the next update, so please heed the warning and take a moment to update any saves that you really care about. Okay, and now onto the fun stuff. To start, we have the battle terrain system that was first showcased in Development Update 7. Make sure to check out that video if you missed it the first time around to learn more about how the system works. But just to give you a quick rundown, we divided the world map into segments with each segment having its own scene assigned to it. When entering a battle, the system looks at the position and direction of the parties on the world map and uses this to determine the spawn points in the scene. The scenes are modelled on the world map terrain, allowing you to plan ahead and use the terrain to your advantage when positioning for an encounter. There's 72 different battle scenes for you to check out in 170, with even more to come in future updates. As you head into battle, you will be met with another substantial update that was discussed previously in the Future Plans blog post. Order of Battle is a new strategic phase that takes place before each battle that allows you to assign captains and troops to formations. Using one or more filters, you can divide your troops into different formations by troop type, giving preference to shield, spear, throwing, and heavy troops. After positioning your formations, you can issue them with a command for when the battle starts. Finally, newly added formation cards show the number of troops, type, ammo, and morale for each formation. During battle, you might notice some changes to the morale system that aim to improve the overall battle gameplay experience, such as range kills now providing morale to allies, adjustments to morale damage from kills and fleeing agents, and agents regaining up to half of their initial morale in battles. If you do manage to completely break your opponent and send them into full retreat, you can now press your advantage by ordering your troops to chase down fleeing enemies. The troops that are less likely to catch up to the routing force will pause to celebrate their hard-earned victory, while the faster troops set off in pursuit. Next up, we have some much-awaited updates to sieges. Starting on the world map, we've increased the effectiveness of starvation as a siege tactic. Garrisons will no longer die from starvation, instead they become wounded and continue to consume food. You can see on the Siege UI exactly how much food is stored in the market and get a better idea of when starvation will kick in. Moving on to siege missions, we have completely reworked the climbing of siege ladders and siege towers, fixing or otherwise improving many of the known issues. Finally, a number of AI behaviours were improved to make sieges more challenging and engaging. If you'd like to check out the siege updates without risking your Iron Man save file, you could always make use of the increased unit count in custom battle that allows you to take up to 2,000 units into battle in a more controlled environment. But just to clear up any possible misconception here, the maximum number of spawn units is still governed by the battle size gameplay setting. If all that sounds a bit too hectic for you, you can make use of the slowdown while giving orders setting that slows down game time by 75% while you are issuing orders. This setting is enabled by default, but you can always disable it from the gameplay options if you prefer to command your troops in real time. And if you want to go one step further and really challenge yourself, you could enable the new Hide Battle UI setting in the gameplay options to remove UI elements inside of battle missions. If you'd like to take a more diplomatic approach to your affairs, you should definitely check out the reworked Charm Skill perk tree. Most of the existing perks were completely replaced and secondary effects added. Oh, and we also completed the partially implemented perks in the other skill trees and fixed all of the known bugged ones. For our international friends, 170 saw the arrival of French, Italian, Japanese, Korean, Polish, Brazilian Portuguese, Russian, and Spanish text localizations, bringing the current total of supported languages to 11, with German also in the works and due to arrive in a future update. Improvements were made to party AI, allowing parties to now run towards allied forces when fleeing from an enemy. Weaker parties will no longer seek to engage stronger parties, and lords will now consider troop desertion when hiring new recruits. On the economy side of things, the overall prices of items were reduced, with higher tier items getting the biggest reductions. A number of UI updates were added, including a continue button on the launcher that lets you jump straight into your latest save game, more prominent quest markers, party speeds added to party nameplates, icons to show if a weapon is braceable or couchable, improvements to the save game screen, and many more. A setting was added that stops the game when the focus to the game window is lost. You can find this setting under gameplay in the options menu. Bastard swords can now be used single-handedly without a shield by using the alternate switch toggle while in two-handed mode. And of course, it wouldn't be a development update video without some good old-fashioned souls, so here's 2 new armors for you to add to your collection. Over in multiplayer, around 40 new items, including some high-tier battle crowns, were added to the player customization system. Player profiles received a major overhaul, with changes to the lobby screen and a new profile page added in place of the old social tab. Through this screen, you can see a more detailed breakdown of your player stats, access your badges, see your clan information, and access your Bannerlord friend features. You can even navigate to your friends and clan members' profiles to check out their stats. And that's just some of the many changes that you can find in 1.7.0. We really hope you enjoyed the video, and we're looking forward to hearing your thoughts on the featured updates in the comment section below. Thank you for watching, and we hope to see you again next time.